Hello, my name is Ryan McCray and I'm the general manager of Beeline Transport. We're a specialized transport company. We move slide-in truck campers like you see pictured here. We also move travel trailers and fifth wheels. A few years ago, I made the decision to take our company from a paper-based system to a full-blown web application. To do that, I started looking on Upwork, talked to a few developers, and eventually landed with a guy at Valere Labs. And it was about a year before we had a working product. We did sit down and come up with flow charts and specification on exactly what we wanted. And in the end, it was definitely a positive for our company. With a small crew, time is money. You have to be efficient. If you're duplicating work, you're wasting time. When you have a web-based system, you're going to see how efficiency makes everything streamlined and it flows from start to finish. And in the end, time is money. So let's dive in and take a look at our inventory manager app. You can see here we have a fingerprint login. That's beneficial when you're in and out of this application all day long. Again, this runs on a mobile device, iPhone or Android, and this is how we get orders into our system. Prior to this, we used a paper, pen, and a clipboard, and we would print out a worksheet as it filled up. We'd print off new ones. Downside is that's not searchable, and you've got to have that clipboard in your possession. If you go to the next screen here, you'll see where we can add inventory, and you can manually add any new entry. I will add that you will see some red bars in the later slides. Those are me censoring some of my customers' private information. Don't be alarmed, in the production environment, it does not display red bars. What's cool about it is we have this capture label button here, and our orders are sent to us, and they have a pre-printed Avery label affixed to an envelope, and we don't have access to the database that printed that, so we use machine learning and we can capture the information off of that packet. So when you press this button, it will bring up the camera and we can grab the data off the label and import that directly into our inventory addition screen. Again, I've censored the information. You can see here it auto populates. You go and you save and it adds it to our inventory for everybody to view who has access to that system. Now you can see it here amongst other inventory, and this is the one we just added. You can long press here, you can go in and edit, and you can also access this from the web as the inventory manager, and you can see here, there it is. Once the inventory manager completes their task, the dispatcher can log in and see that item in inventory. They can click on a button up here and generate a new bill of lading. This number is automatically generated. Prior to our web app, we had to keep track of our last used number and make sure we didn't reuse it again. If you did reuse it, you now have two orders with the same number. That's problematic. You can see here we've got the item that we originally added with the inventory manager's app, and now we're putting it on a bill of lading. Addition to that, we can add the invoice amount. We can also add the settle amount, the payout to the truck. All of those were separate steps prior to this app. So basically, we've combined all three of those steps into this one step, and the trigger is when the truck marks it as delivered. Again, you're seeing red for sensitive information. You can also look in here and think, okay, well, at some point, how did that happen before? All of that was handwritten. These in this section, this is where we keep notes about specific dealers. So maybe there's a good car wash we want to use before we deliver, and we make note of that here so the next time we already have it. Prior to this web app, we didn't have the ability to record any of that except for, in a notebook, and you had to remember what dealer was close to which car wash, and the problem is solved right here. You're also going to see this on the next screen. Here's all of our orders prior to the web app. You can see here we would just go through and have a clipboard with each individual number. And if we ran out of, it was probably 10 per sheet. So you'd have to flip through the sheets. All of the red at some point would have had to be handwritten by a human, which allows for human error again. Once the dispatcher gets the order ready, they can go in and generate paperwork and eventually assign it to the driver. So here we're looking from within the driver's app, and the driver can see all of the work currently on their list. And from this count, we can see there's 1 here, 2, 3, and 4. Number 3 being the one we just added. The driver can long press here and go in and open up that order. From here, he's controlling everything. He can get the paperwork, he can report an emergency, he can email himself a summary of what he's going to get paid. He can add expenses to that summary, such as permits and tolls, etc. This entry point right here probably saved us the most amount of time. Imagine all that paperwork after a delivery coming back with a handful of receipts, or sometimes you'd have to get an envelope and put all the receipts in an envelope and bring that back with the order. At some point, somebody's going to have to sit down and itemize each receipt from that envelope and turn that into an expense reimbursement for the truck that completed that delivery. With the mobile app for the driver, everything is handled at the mobile app level. The driver enters everything. When you go to pay, as long as the driver's entered it and as long as it's an approved expense, it's automatically added to a reimbursement for that order. This probably saved us 5 to 10 minutes per order, and the accuracy is there. Basically, the driver punches in all the figures and every piece of information from that receipt. In order to manage the entire system, we have the admin interface, and the good thing about the web application is you now have a database and you can quickly access that data. From there, you can display metrics and you can manage what you're displaying and what managers see what. It allows them to get in and get a real-time view of what's going on. Before, we had a stack of handwritten worksheets, and you would have to dig through one by one and go through that entire stack to find what you were looking for, to see what was going on. If you wanted to report on it, you would have to tally them up and generate some sort of report. Maybe you used Excel. It still took a long amount of time. With the database, you can program what you want to see and you can display it and look at it anytime you want. Quick, live, real time. You can see what's going on. We've already discussed how our process has been improved, and the only thing I can say is I wish we would have done this a long time ago. Be good to each other.